interested in doing the biggest fights, most money, most glamour.
The fight that we all want to see is Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk.
Could see a unification fight between these two.
This is what we want. We want the best. These showdowns are steeped in history.
Where's Oleksandr Usyk, the rabbit?
Really belle. Bien même.
Hey, rabbit! You are next!
The news that it is saying.
It's from the 4 belts.
You're fighting the best British heavyweight there's ever been.
This is just a perfect situation.
I more speak in the ring.
I already really won the Ukrainian of all about.
This is going to be something a little bit special.
I can't wait!
We will finally know who the top heavyweight on the planet is.
Let's get it on!
Yes, hello, welcome to Riyadh. We are in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to crown a new, undisputed king of the heavyweight division. Tomorrow night, we'll learn who that man is. Will it be the unbeaten UK wizard, Tyson Fury? Or will it be the unbeaten Ukrainian wizard, Oleksandr Usyk? So much on the line, so many questions to answer. We're going to find out a little bit more today. They're going to weigh in. We're going to see them on the scales. They're going to look at each other for the final time. And I'm going to be looking at these gentlemen here. Delighted to be in the company of Big Daddy Bunce. Steve Bunce, how are you?
Fantastic, Dev. What a week it's been.
What a
week so far.
Oh, unbelievable week. Delighted to have two-weight world champion, Mr. Carl Frampton, with us. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dev. How you doing, mate?
Very, very well. And of course, the one and only Richie Woodall, former WBC world champion. How are you, Richie?
Very good indeed. Really looking forward to a great night tomorrow.
Big fight feel, which we can feel it in the air more than ever this week because the Brits, Steve, are in town.
They are in town. I've been doing a sort of quick consensus down there in the front rows about where they've flown in from, assuming many had driven from Bahrain or flown from Dubai. No, they've come in from all over the UK via Istanbul. Because if you missed it, there is a flight, or there was a flight, for about 230 quid. Manchester, Istanbul, Riyadh, to watch this fight. That's cheaper than getting from the south of England to the north of England for an British title fight. It's outrageous, then.
It is outrageous. And Carl, what was outrageous? I wasn't expecting this. We had a little sing-song. We did a little bit of Sweet Caroline just about 5 minutes ago. Things have picked up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm caught up in this as well. I'm sure, as you are, Dev, and the boys here. I mean, I just feel privileged and honoured to be here. I can't believe someone's paying me for it. I mean, it's an honour to be here.
Richie, it's got all the makings of a special week and a special fight night here in Riyadh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great undercard as well, isn't it? But the main fight itself, it's splitting people right down the middle. You know, there's a lot of people going for, obviously, Tyson Fury, but there's a lot of fans out there going for Oleksandr Usyk. They think his movement, and because he's such a technician, he'll be too good for Fury. So it's one of them. It's capturing the imagination of a lot of people, but the undercard as well is very good indeed. It's a quality show.
Well, today is all about the weigh-in, and there has been a question floating around boxing for probably about a week, maybe 10 days now. What does Tyson Fury weigh? Everyone's obsessed with how much weight he's lost. Even Usyk, has he gained a little bit as well?
He is skinny.
Well, yeah.
He is skinny, he told us on this stage 2 nights ago.
What are you expecting, Steve?
I'm expecting him not to be a lot different than he was a couple of fights ago. He's not going to be the career heaviest Ngannou weight. He's going to be a bit below that, but I don't think he's going to be 20 pounds below that, Dev. I can see him being, if you want to do it in pounds, 268, 266, 267. Some people I'm talking to are saying to me, I tell you what, Steve, looks like he can do 17 stone. If he saw the leg off, he could do 17 stone. He's not that. His face is slim, but the rest of his body is filled out on his chest, but he's not going to be that light. I'm convinced of it.
Well, his last 2 fights, he's been over 19 stone, but against Ngannou, probably didn't take it. He says he did, but I don't think he took it as serious as he should have. Obviously, he was 19 stone 11. Before that, he was 19-2. And then against Dillian White, he's about 18-3, 18-4. I think he'll come about 18.5 stone. That's probably down to tactics because he'll want to move and compete with Usyk. Usyk's such a good mover, so if he's too heavy, Tyson, and he's got to hold his feet, that could give Usyk the advantage. I think he'll want to compete with Usyk in terms of his movement, and that will mean a lighter frame of probably 18.5 stone.
Yeah, I think around the 18 stone mark probably. And people are talking about this concern, if he loses too much weight, does it affect his chin? A lot of Tyson Fury's weight that he has is just dead weight, blubber or whatever.
Love handles.
I think being light allows him to fight aggressively, allows him to work at a high rate, a high output of punches, and I think being around that 18 stone mark, maybe even sub 18 stone, I think it helps him in this fight.
You think he can go below 18
maybe
stone?
slightly, I mean, not a mile below it, but I think maybe slightly below it.
I'd be amazed, Dev, sorry for interrupting. I'd be amazed if he's lower than about 18-10.
Really?
Yeah, I really will. I mean,
I will.
Because I still, I mean, the face thing was deceptive.
Yeah.
When we were in Morecambe, you guys weren't there, we were in Morecambe, and he came out and he looked really slim. But then, once I saw him at the open workout where he did 20 minutes with his vest on, and you saw him take it off at the end, he's still carrying that same bit of flesh.
Yeah, we never
his
learned.
shoulders and arms have filled.
Yes.
The thing is as well with Tyson, he's quite comfortable at 18-10. And he can get up on his feet and he's the most agile 18 stone 10 man you will see in the ring.
That's ever lived, probably.
He's very, exactly. He's very agile heavyweight for that weight. I haven't seen anyone move like him.
Listen, I think we never learn our lesson when it comes to heavyweights and us trying to guess their weight. I remember Andy Ruiz, there were some reports heading into the rematch with Anthony Joshua, someone like, oh, has he come in good shape? And then suddenly he wasn't. There's angles that people can find. So, some of these heavyweights have better angles than Lomachenko when it comes to taking photos. But Tyson Fury, I just don't know. What about Oleksandr Usyk? You said you think maybe he's put on a bit of bulk but lost a bit of...
I think it's really weird what he's done. And we talked about this the other day, and you and I have talked about this, Carl. Usyk's last 3 fights, he's been 221, 221, 221. Yeah. That's so rare for any heavyweight to come in on the weight, same 3 weights. Yeah. I think he'll be heavier, but not that much heavier. Because Rich, there's no way, no matter what he gains, it's not going to influence, he's not going to outbolt. No. It's just like Fury, no matter what Fury loses, there comes an optimum point. When losing below that is going to start draining him and taking away his resistance.
I think if he's been coming in at that 221 for the last 3 fights, that kind of suggests that's his optimum fight weight. That's what he likes to fight at. So I think he's going to be around there again.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's around 15-11. And if you look at tactics and how they're going to go about it, for me, for this fight for Usyk, movement is going to be a...
Please, gentlemen.
Well, go on, Carl, you go first.
I mean... Fury's a bit of an enigma, as is Usyk. I think he everything he does is thought out. And sometimes it may not look like that, but I think he made a conscious decision. Yeah. Maybe last week, I'm not going to look at him at the first head-to-head. And I think it was a conscious decision that he made to do that. Will he do it here today? Who knows? But I'm not one of these guys who thinks that a fight is won on the scales or at a press conference or who stirs the other man out the longest. The fight is won on the night.
Yeah.
It doesn't really... I don't care if Fury looks at him or doesn't look at him. I don't think it makes much of a difference.
But it does work from a global perspective because we all want that iconic moment. 24 hours before the first bell, where they're nose to nose or he's looking up slightly. So I think we want that moment. Yeah. Saying that, if he were to do the same thing tonight, maybe he'll go to full hog and turn around. Yeah. Why not? You know, yesterday, Rich, like, I've got the inside track on loads of things there, but I don't know if you know this, but
go on.
So yesterday I was backstage
to
interview Tyson for TNT when he came off after the face-off, okay? So I'm there, right? What? And from backstage, you can't see what's happening. There's no monitors. So I'm the only person, right, in the world involved with the boxing who doesn't know he hasn't had a stare off. Yeah. So I asked him, what was it like looking in his eyes? How intrepid is that? I was really on the ball last night. Hopefully I'm doing a bit better tonight.
He was just about looking into the side of his he was looking out into the crowd. Yeah. Wonderful crowd here, by the way. It's really building up the atmosphere here. And we got a little taste of it yesterday at the press conference. Tyson Fury got a big cheer. Oleksandr Usyk got a big cheer. All week there's been chants of Fury, Usyk. I think we're going to get a very special atmosphere on Saturday night. Remember, we are sold out in the Kingdom Arena.
Yeah, but going back to yesterday at that face-off and the situation there, Tyson looked like he'd been through it a million times. He was sat back, he was relaxed. And he didn't want to look into his eyes, didn't want to give any energy to his opponent, didn't want to give any inkling of what his opponent might be thinking of what he's actually thinking. He just kept it really under control. And I was impressed with that sort of attitude.
Well, let's head over to RMC, Thomas Schreiber.
In Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is being brought to you by Frank Warren, on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, and Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, in conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Events Center, the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Gold Star Promotions, K2 Promotions, and Sella. This great event will be shown worldwide on DAZN pay-per-view, in the United States on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, and in the UK on Sky Sports Box Office, TNT Sports Box Office, and DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to extend a big thank you to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey Al-Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived for the weigh-in process to begin. Boxing fans joining us around the world, and boxing fans joining us here in beautiful Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Let's hear it out there. Our first two fighters to the scale, competing tomorrow in a scheduled 10-round international featherweight contest. Let's first welcome a native of Afghanistan, now fighting out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. He brings a professional record consisting of 16 wins, just 1 defeat, 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Hasibullah Ahmadi.
Well, here comes Hasibullah Ahmadi. He's the man who will be taking on Isaac Lowe, the Westgate Warrior, on Saturday night. And Isaac Lowe is a man who has been all around the world with Tyson Fury. But from looking at this guy here, Ahmadi, he's a serious fighter.
Yeah, decent test for Isaac. I think it's.
And now let's welcome,
I think he's a bit of a
coming to
character.
us from Morecambe, England. He brings a professional record consisting of 24 wins, 2 defeats, 3 draws, 8 wins, coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Isaac, the Westgate Warrior Lowe.
Well, I'll tell you what, a great ovation here for Isaac, the Westgate Warrior Lowe. The Brits are very much in town. The atmosphere is building up nicely here, and you can hear they absolutely love Isaac Lowe. I think Tyson Fury has just arrived here as well in Boulevard City. And Isaac Lowe, important fight for him on Saturday night, Steve.
You know what, I don't like to use the word make and break, but even with the patronage of Tyson, he does need a win.
127.7 for Hasibullah Ahmadi.
Well, of course, these fighters actually weighed in earlier on today. This is the ceremonial weigh-in period. So both have already made the weight that they need to make.
125.5 for Isaac Westgate Warrior Lowe.
Well, Isaac Lowe has looked in tremendous shape. Every time you see a photo of Tyson Fury in good shape, Isaac Lowe's right next to him.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of Tyson's bills, hasn't he? He's having his 30th contest on Saturday, and he's won 3 since the defeat against Nick Ball, so he's going to try and keep it going and revive his career.
I think he's more than just a guy that Tyson looks after and puts on shows. During those really dark years, 2016, 2017, Isaac was by his side then. He wasn't fighting in Vegas and Saudi then.
Once
he
again,
was surviving in Morecambe. He stood by him, Deb. He really has.
Well, goodness me, they are nose to nose here. Isaac Lowe and Ahmadi here.
Contest.
And a little bit of a shove there, a flashpoint. Isaac Lowe just shoving Hasibullah Ahmadi away. Tension's just spilling over.
Well, you know, it's that close now. And also, they've seen each other all week. They've had the media day, they've had the arrivals, they've had the workouts, they've had the press conference. It comes to a point when you're just sick and tired. You're sick of the sight of the guy. You just want to get in the ring, Rich.
Yeah, they do indeed. And he's getting pretty experienced now, Isaac Lowe. And as I say, because he's appeared on so many Tyson Fury bills, he knows these big occasions and he relishes it.
He's a decent fighter, Isaac, as well.
Yeah, he is,
I've done a lot of sparring, by the way. People forget that. Isaac can fight.
He absolutely can. Only those 2 high-profile losses to very, very good fighters in Nick Ball and Luis Alberto Lopez. Let's head back to Thomas Tribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next two combatants to the scale, competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Championship. Let's first welcome to the scale, coming to us from Porto, Portugal. He brings a professional record of 9 wins, just 1 defeat. 4 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Octavio Tank Pudivita.
Well, here comes Octavio Pudivita. They call him the Tank. He's built like a tank, and if he's half as good as the other Tank, hey, he'll be a decent fighter, right?
Yeah, I imagine it will be, but yeah, I'm not too much yet, kid, so I don't imagine he's probably as good as the other Tank, but we'll see.
It'll be some going.
Only his second fight outside Portugal. Not really a puncher, only 4 knockouts on his record. But hey, this is a massive stage for him.
And now let's
he'll go
welcome
for
a native of Poland, now fighting out of Kyiv, Ukraine, undefeated with 9 wins, 3 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Daniel Lappin.
Well, here is the 6'6" light heavyweight sensation Daniel Lappin, promoted by Usyk 17 Promotions, and looks a real talent.
Is he 6'6" then?
He is huge.
Massive for the weight.
I've been around him, he's a big old boy, yeah.
I mean, we spoke about Isaac Lowe boxing on Tyson's bills. He's boxed on 4 or 5 of Oleksandr Usyk bills. Really tall for the weight, and he's decent. Good boxer.
For Octavio Tank Pudivita.
The big skinny guys, Dave, sometimes can surprise you. I think with the punches that get on, the long levers are the ones. Prime example, everyone talked about Tommy Hearns.
Yeah. And Hamza Shiraz at
and
the
Hamza
moment.
Shiraz as well. It's all about the length on the shot.
But again, not really a big puncher. Only 3 knockouts, but a decent boxer. And you can tell he's been well schooled, Dev. Well schooled.
You know, it's a really odd one. I know we have had some great fights here, but I find it really odd that there's suddenly a Portuguese guy with no great reputation catapulted in with a winning record, so he's not come as a loser. That's just such a.
I don't know.
It's just odd.
I don't know another Portuguese
Once
fighter.
again, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know. There was a guy from Portugal who was based with Billy Graham in Manchester, but I don't know his name. I can't remember.
Look at that height difference, by the way.
Yeah,
we talked about the length of Daniel Lappin here. You can really see it in effect there.
No prizes for guessing what the tactics are here, isn't there, for these two?
Absolutely. I'd imagine Tank will want to get as close as he just did then.
Yeah.
Little hug. You don't see that very often at a face-off.
No, it's nice. Look, these guys are respectful. They know what they're going to do, and they know what it's all about.
Well, I think we talked about this the other day, Carl. That guy from Portugal, as you say, he's only his second fight outside of Portugal. Where's he been boxing? How many people have been there? This might be his biggest ever crowd in here tonight.
Oh, in here, the way up to it. Yeah, I imagine it probably is.
This might be his biggest crowd. Yeah. 700-800 people.
No, absolutely that. Imagine being one of these fighters and just getting that golden phone call.
Oh, amazing.
He won't have believed his luck.
Yeah, I wish.
Well, we've got Larry Holmes
Our
here
next
as
2
well.
combatants to the
Very
scale,
much
competing tomorrow night
boxing royalty
in a 10-round
in the house.
contest. It will be for the vacant IBF International Cruiserweight Championship.
And Vladimir Klitschko. Goodness me, the stars
Germany.
are very much joining us here today at the weigh-in. Vladimir Klitschko, Larry Holmes, we have Lennox Lewis, I'm sure will join us very shortly. Evander Holyfield here as well. It's
Roberto Duran.
Yes.
Yeah. My wife's going to be very jealous about Vladimir Klitschko's here.
She likes Vladimir, does she?
I think she likes him a bit.
I mean, you couldn't be more different, Carl.
Well,
there's no need for that, Dev.
I'm a little bit of a kind of Soviet, Russian, Eastern Bloc look about me. Just, I'm not the same size. That's all.
Honestly, I've said to you all the time, you've got that
Uzbek,
Slavic look.
Kazakh.
Don't make me don't let me turn Uzbek on you.
A native of Hamilton,
Vladimir Klitschko.
Our next 2 combatants to
We've
the
already
scale
seen Larry
competing
Holmes
tomorrow
arrive as well.
in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. First, we welcome from Hamburg, Germany. He brings a professional record of 25 wins, 3 defeats, with 20 of his 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Ilya Mazen.
Well, here is Ilyan Mazen. He will be the opponent on Saturday night for Moses Ituma. This is Moses Ituma's first title fight, and this is the man standing in his way.
You know what I was going to say? I've watched his face from when he came down the red carpet Tuesday. Watched his face when he walked to the workout. Watched his face when he walked to the press conference. And he has slowly lost a little bit of something. And that face there was the sudden realisation what's happening. Because on Tuesday, Dev, he was wandering around smiling. He was as good as throwing roses out. Now look at him. I think it might have just dawned on him.
He's not bad early though, Steve. 16 wins inside a couple of rounds, so he's not bad early.
Wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Moses Ituma.
Well, speaking of not bad, how about this guy? 19 years old, seen by many as the future of the heavyweight division, unbeaten as an amateur, unbeaten as a pro. Big, big future for Moses Ituma.
You know, with Moses, we've had to go hot and then we've had to pull back just a little bit. There was all the Mike Tyson stuff trying to do it. And we've tried to be sensible and level-headed. But it's quite hard, not just because of what he's doing in the ring, but from what we're hearing from what he's doing away from the ring. And everybody, every man and his dog, even people that don't like him are praising him, Dev.
He's the boy, Dev. I mean, you said it, the future of heavyweight boxing. I think that's a shoo-in to be the case. This kid, at some point down the line, will be in fights as big as the main event here tonight.
Hey, do you know what's interesting? It's all about Vision 2030 here in Riyadh.
239.1
he could be challenging for Undisputed.
Maybe
before.
You know, this kid is so talented, he really is. And you hear rumours of him going around all the gyms. He sparred Tyson Fury, he sparred Anthony Joshua. All good reports coming back how good this and how much they rate him. So yes, very talented indeed. And when you speak to him, he's the kind of kid who's got his feet on the ground. He's very sensible. Yes, he's the future, no doubt.
Absolutely, there is a coldness about him when it comes to these face-offs as well. So I'm looking forward to. I think he's kind of looking
once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
There's the face you were talking about, Bunsen.
Yeah, realisation.
Yeah. Good luck to the kid. As you say, Richard's got a half-decent record. He's lost a couple of times to a good guy, but there comes a point. He maybe's done a bit of more research when he's here. He's maybe seen him around, seen how relaxed he is. Perhaps he saw him in a lift and Moses was dead calm. Stuff like that. You know, these guys will tell you, you don't have to be in someone's face to put the fear of God in someone. Don't have to shout at someone. Sometimes just a bit of quiet confidence can make your knees buckle.
Or just fight like Moses Ituma.
Or just fight like Moses Ituma.
That'll put the frighteners up, yeah.
It will be for the vacant WBC Silver Lightweight Championship. Let's first welcome a native of Nigeria, now fighting out of Accra, Ghana. He has a professional record of 23 wins, just 1 defeat, 16 of his 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the current WBO Africa Super Featherweight Champion, Joshua the Wealth Machine Wahab.
Well, here comes Joshua Wahab. They call him the Wealth Machine, and I'll tell you, if he beats Mark Chamberlain on Saturday night, it might be a very appropriate nickname.
Yeah, the Wealth Machine. I mean, yeah, he's out in the Middle East here. He's in Saudi, where all the wealth is, and all the fighters are getting really well paid. So maybe that's a new nickname, and he'll want to be keeping it.
He's mainly campaigned in super feather, Dev, but he's got a few knockouts on his record, 16 of them. So this is a massive stage for him. This and a performance here against Mark Chamberlain could absolutely change his life.
And now
change his life completely.
From Portsmouth, England, undefeated with 15 wins, 11 of his 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated former WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Champion, Mark Chamberlain.
Well, here comes the Pompey puncher, Mark Chamberlain. A brilliant performance last time out in Riyadh against Gavin Gwynn. and he has become a real favourite of His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Some are saying he's his favourite fighter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one, if I'm being honest, but I think Turki Al-Sheikh knows boxing. He knows a good fighter. He knows a young prospect who can punch hard and is an exciting fight. I think Sam Noakes is probably thinking, while he's knocking everyone out, why am I not the favourite? But, I mean, this kid can fight. There's a lot to like about Mark Chamberlain. Again, talking about the levers, I imagine Mark Chamberlain probably isn't the strongest guy in the weight room and throwing weights around, but hits you long enough, he'll knock you out.
No, he absolutely does.
Tall and rangy, Dev. That's the thing with Mark Chamberlain. Decent power as well, undefeated. Yeah, he's going to be hard to beat, Mark Chamberlain.
He certainly is, and if he wins on Saturday night, he'll pick up a WBC Silver Lightweight Championship. And I don't think it will be long before he is knocking on the door heavily for a world title.
The problem with the lightweights, as you know, it's a fairly congested and a fairly lucrative place. And those guys look like they might just swap it around. A couple of windows, don't worry.
Silver Lightweight Championship.
Well, actually, looking over to my left, I can see that Joseph Parker has joined us. We are in great company here today. Joseph Parker, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. I arrived in this morning from New Zealand, and I'm buzzing to be here. Really buzzing.
Listen, I mean, you're pretty familiar with Riyadh now, but
I like Riyadh.
There's something about this week. Look at the Brits behind you as well. The atmosphere is building. It's got that big fight feel, Joe.
Listen, I don't think you can get any bigger than this. 25 years we haven't had a undisputed unified champion of the world, so this is massive. And whoever wins this fight is the man.
Tell me this, you've been around Tyson so much. What did you make of yesterday, him not looking at Usyk during the face-off? What did you think about that, Joe?
I feel like Tyson is unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get, you never know what he's going to say, and you never know what he's going to do. But from what I can see, I feel like he's quietly confident. He is. Some days he's loud and some days he's quiet, but when you've done the work, you don't really need to talk much.
If people on social media suddenly become kind of part-time, body analysis and body language and all this here, I think Tyson made a conscious decision probably before he didn't look at it. He made that decision. I'm not going to look at this guy, and we'll see what happens.
And we've got to see what happens today, because what do you think? If you're a gambling man, we're probably not in the right place to talk about gambling. If you're a gambling man, Joe, does he get in his face today, or does he stare off into the crowd?
You probably want to stare off the other way.
Turn around completely.
You never know.
I tell you, we're just talking about, Joe, whilst you're here, before you go, we're just talking about David Naika, obviously. Now, we're just talking about other New Zealand and Australian fighters. Obviously, Jai Opetaia. We might have a Riyadh season down under. Riyadh season, look at my son.
Why don't we look at that?
Absolutely.
There are fighters. Jai Opetaia is very talented, the same as David Naika, very accomplished fighters. And this is the big stage for them to put on a great performance.
You topping the bill. Sky Nicholson on the undercard. The comeback of Combosis. I'm making the fight.
I talked about the region, New Zealand, Australia, and kind of the islands and stuff. What is it the best it's been for boxing at the minute in terms of the fighters you've got?
It's the best. I think it's the best boxing that we've had in the longest time.
Yeah.
Now, we had the likes of David Tua back in the day, but now I think there's a lot
Jeff
more fighters
Fennick
now.
as well, right?
Jeff Fennick. There's a lot more now. At this stage,
I think Australia have qualified something like 11 in the Olympics, Steve.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's down to a lot. That's been Kevin Smith, who's the amateur coach from Liverpool, who's now training the Saudi Arabians.
Wow.
Tell me this, Joe. You fought here before. What is it like fighting here in Riyadh?
Listen, I've had 3 wins here in Riyadh. I love this place. I want to fight here again. It's nice to come here and not to be fighting and just to be a spectator and be a part of this event. But I do love it here. I've had some great results here.
And Tyson looks like he's completely dialed in. He looks like he's in shape. He looks like he's ready to go. Looks like he's focused. Are you seeing that as well? Are you seeing a difference compared to the Ngannou build-up?
I feel like with this fight, I've been obviously texting him back and forth, and he's just a lot more. I feel like he's a lot more confident in this fight, and that comes down to the work and the team that he's had in camp. And obviously the sparring is the most important part as well, leading into a fight.
And Joe, we've talked about styles and height differences and that. Do you think that's a big advantage for Tyson? He's literally his size.
I feel like the advantage for Tyson is the size and reach, and I think he has to use that advantage and be the big man in the fight. I know he's lost a lot of weight, but he's still the big man.
There's a lot more to him, though. I think people are kind of just saying Tyson Fury too big and too strong, but all the other attributes, plus the height and the reach and the weight, there's a lot more to Tyson Fury than just being a big man.
Usyk though is crafty.
Crafty.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yes. Unbelievable fighter.
Angles, everything.
Movements.
What do you think other heavyweights have got wrong against Oleksandr Usyk? Because there's no blueprint. He's beaten all of them. What did they do wrong, Joe, in your view?
Probably not what they've done wrong. It's just that he's a great boxer.
Yeah.
And then he knows what he wants, and he knows what he's going to do in the ring, and he goes out there and executes it.
You know, when you look at, sorry, Rich, when you look at Usyk, I mean, if they're finding out more and more about the science that he applies to what he does, well, that's been one of the turnarounds, the sort of secret turnarounds in your life. It's just how you're approaching things differently, working with the specialist nutritionist and the program he's developing. Well, this is stuff that he's been doing since he was 15 years of age.
Listen, 10 years of boxing, and I finally found the right
At last!
formula. Yes!
Turns out you can't have egg and bacon for breakfast!
What? You can't do it? Oh, that's what I was getting wrong.
What are you expecting from Oleksandr Usyk? We've been keeping an eye on him this week as well. Weight-wise, he always tends to come in about 220 pounds. Do you think he's bulked up at all to try and chase Tyson up in weight? What do you think?
Usyk is a master in the ring. So I reckon this is going to be the toughest fight for Tyson because of what Usyk presents, the angles and the footwork is key. Like you're going in and out, and I just feel like whatever weight, it doesn't really matter about the weight, it's how you prepare for a fight, and whatever the weight is, that's what it is.
And listen, Joe, you are a heavyweight in this era, one of the key players right now. How important is it to have one man, one king, with one crown? How important is that for you?
I can't wait to see that tomorrow. Yeah. It's going to be the best. And after Tyson wins, we want to be celebrating hard.
Brilliant stuff. Joe Parker, we're going to let you go. We can't wait for... we want to hear. Have you got any clues about who are you going to fight next?
Anyone.
Oh.
Anyone.
Okay.
Anyone again.
Oh, wow.
Anyone again.
Anyone, yeah.
He's the yes man in boxing. You say yes to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to let you go, my friend. Joseph Parker. One of the... And there is Larry Holmes. Goodness me. We are just surrounded by heavyweight royalty, boxing royalty. Larry Holmes, some fighter, Steve, he was.
You know, when you look at Big Larry's record, you look at it and you look at it again. And I was around for something. I saw a couple of his fights, for God's sake. Not the early ones, don't get carried away there. Some of the later ones, obviously. Then when you actually look at it, I did it over the weekend. You're in awe of what Larry did. That's why it really annoys me sometimes when he gets left off those modern lists. Everyone goes Foreman, Frazier, Norton, Ali, Tyson, and they leave him out.
Yeah.
Don't leave Larry out.
Well, here is a man very much in the headlines at the moment as well. Ryan Garcia is also in the arena. Let's head to Thomas Treiber.
Contest. Let's first welcome to the scale a native of Sweden. Now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. He is undefeated with 16 wins. 12 of his 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Robin Safar.
He looked down the press conference table yesterday at Sergey Kovalev and told him that he's going to stop him in 7 rounds. It was quite a menacing message to the Crusher. And Sergey Kovalev didn't seem too bothered by what Rob Safar said.
No, I mean, that's an understatement, Dev. I mean, Sergey Kovalev is not dissimilar to Oleksandr Usyk. You can say what you like to him. No matter what you say.
Yeah, ace in his veins. Ace in his veins. He's an intimidating character. That's probably the right thing to say.
Consisting of 35 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw, with 29 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former unified light heavyweight champion of the world, Sergey the Crusher Kovalev.
Well, here comes the Crusher, Sergey Kovalev, one of the best fighters we've had in the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, from that ridiculous performance against Nathan Cleverly back in about 2013.
When no one had heard of him,
when no one had heard, and hand on heart, we knew he was a little bit of this, we saw a bit of amateur pedigree. But Nathan, if you ever watched that fight, Nathan shows no respect. He walks out, gets hurt, gets up. And since then, he's just gone on. And anyone that doesn't like Kovalev, who's watched boxing for the last 15 years, it may be time to switch to Tiddlywinks.
That's a great line, Steve. I'm looking forward to seeing if the Crusher still has that menace in his eye in this face-off.
For the former world champion,
only his second fight at cruiser, remember, so he's moving up. 41 years of age, 17 world title fights, 3-time light heavyweight champion. Man, he's done it all, this kid.
But that's it. Not in bad shape either. Looked all right there on the scales.
No,
41-year-old man.
exactly, yeah. I tell you what. He will not put any flab on around the stair. I interviewed him on Monday of this. It was like a long time ago, Monday of this week, and it took a good few minutes for me to break him. And I used the whole lot. I've been to your house in Chelyabinsk. I went to this fight. I've always loved you. I had you on this show. It was nothing. It took about 5 minutes to break him. He was okay in the end. Don't worry.
Again,
but it took a long time,
Dave. These two competing tomorrow in a scheduled 10-round
we get there
international
in the end. Sergey Kovalev.
Contest.
Young lion, old lion situation here.
It very much is. We've got a very confident young lion as well. And Richie, we're actually going to swap you out now. We're going to bring in another. Well, I mean, this is a man who is here to witness the coronation. We're actually going to be joined very shortly by Lennox Lewis. And look at this face-off here. Rob Safar and Sergey Kovalev. Rob Safar thinks he's going to knock him out.
Forget Rob Safar for a minute. We're just playing Olympic medal tag. We've gone bronze at light middle against Roy Jones, and then we're stripping him in for gold against Riddick Bowe. What a business, Dad! What a business!
We are very much in the big-time boxing business, and we are joined. We are joined by the last heavyweight king, Lennox Lewis. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm feeling good. The atmosphere out here is amazing. Lovely. Can't wait for the fight.
And it's building as well. The Brits have landed. They're in town. They're making noise, Lennox.
Yeah, they're making noise. They're singing, and that's a good thing.
How have you found your week so far in Riyadh? I've seen you doing plenty of media, having little dinners here and there. How have you found it, Lennox?
Oh, I find it great. You know, the weather's great. A lot of people around. You know, the energy's there. The energy's in the air.
You know what, Lennox? Can you imagine what it's like for fans when they're standing 20 feet away and in walks Roberta Duran, and in walks Larry Holmes, and in walks Evander Holyfield, and in walks Lennox Lewis? They have to pinch themselves. You put yourself in their shoes as a fan. Imagine you five walking in. Duran, Holmes, Holyfield and Lewis.
Let me tell you, I feel their excitement. You know, they're happy to see me. You know, I haven't been stopped. I've taken so many pictures these last couple of days, even tonight. So I'm thinking until tomorrow as well.
Well, people are taking pictures of Ajit Kabayal on the stage, unbeaten, 24-0 heavyweight, about to take on another unbeaten 24-0 heavyweight. What do you think of Ajit Kabayal, Lennox? You must have seen a little bit of him fighting.
I have seen a little bit of him, and you know, he's a good fighter, and you know, I can't wait to see more of him. He just needs more fights.
Yeah, absolutely that.
Here is the
he pulled off a massive upset in his last fight. I mean, no one's seen that coming, and he's a kid. With momentum on his side. Frank Sanchez, a great fighter too, but this is a tough one to call, I believe.
You know, I like Frank Sanchez because of the way he moves around. He kind of gets you going in a rhythm, and then he comes with a great punch. So he's a guy to watch, and he's got power punches, and as you can tell, he's built up as a heavyweight as well. He was a lot smaller a couple years ago, but he's definitely grown into a heavyweight.
Well, they call him the Cuban Flash. He too is 24-0. He had a big win last time out here in Riyadh. He stopped Junior Farr in 7 rounds. Ajit Kabayal stopped Makhmudov that we talked about. And now this kind of league system means that they fight, Steve.
Absolutely they fight. And you know what? We talked about this before. The loser here is still back in October. The winner here is also back in October. Not in a rematch. It's the way that this system, Lennox, the way he's doing it, the guys out here, just in these heavyweights. It's like a league system. You win, you lose. As long as you fight, you get an invite back.
It almost seems like a super tournament.
Yeah, it's what it's like. A long-term tournament.
Well, that's what's needed. I mean, you know, I hate the fact that some guys take so long to fight, half a year, 6 months to fight. This makes it, you can fight every couple months.
Yeah. But I think that's down to Turkey Al-Sheikh, though.
100%.
I think bringing the promoters together, Eddie and Frank working together. Fighters want to fight. Yeah. But I think down to His Excellency, that's the reason why these fights are happening.
Turkey Al-Sheikh, he's, you know, I call him the mind bender. You know, he's the mind bender because he's put all this together, and this is what we want. This is what boxing needs.
Has he convinced you to come out of retirement yet, Lennox?
He's tried to. But
No more.
No more, no more.
You know what's interesting about the mind bender, as you call him, and you know this, Deb, and I'm sure you do, Carl, is when he sits down with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and they go through the night, they're Majen Street eating dates and drinking coffee. They plan fights, not for this year. They plan through this year to next year. They're planning shows for October 2025. And it's here. It's working out who's going to be at the top. He beats him, he fights him, he beats him, he can find the winner of that. Then the winner. It's unbelievable. Their plan is incredible.
Yeah, he's got the guys working. This is what boxing needs, you know. I mean, somebody really getting the fights out there and making sure there's a lot of fights for boxers, because a lot of boxers are sitting around and they're twiddling their thumbs, but they want to fight. And Turki Alishek is making it happen.
I'll tell you
the
what,
mastermind.
The mastermind. That's a great line, Lennox. There was an intensity there with Frank Sanchez and Ajit Kabayal. Fantastic fight. And you're absolutely right. I feel like, without His Excellency Turki Alishek, we probably wouldn't see a fight like that, by the way. Ajit Kabayal against Frank Sanchez. Why would they fight each other?
Yeah, this is what the fans want to see. Fans want to see great fights. And, you know, stepping outside the promoter, stepping outside the TV companies, he's going right to the fighters and making it happen.
I think in the 4 shows we've been at since the change of regime in the boxing here, I think we've seen, and people might get angry with me, I think we've seen, or we're about to see with this weekend, I think we've seen 25 fights that we might not have got. I know we've lost Dimitri Bivol and Beterbiev this weekend. I think we've got 25 fights that we wouldn't have got. We might have got 25
fights
that
don't happen anywhere else apart from Saudi.
Yeah, and you're going to see 5 more on the June 1st Queensberry versus Matchroom. Not a chance. They hadn't even spoken to each other, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, and here everyone's getting on now, huh?
Yeah, it's all about getting it done. And he's definitely getting it done with all the promoters, and they're getting along too.
Let me ask you, Lennox, who's going to get it done on Saturday night?
Let me tell you, it's going to be
a
terrific
there we go.
fight.
Bear with us just a second. Evander Holyfield, the last man, undisputed. You fought him for that crown. I mean, what is it like being around him? I saw your selfie.
Yeah, you know, I want to interview him and say, hey, you know, how do you feel about our fight 25 years ago? And see what he says. It was a great fight. I'm sure this fight's going to be a great fight with Tyson Fury and Usyk. 2 great guys fighting. Usyk hasn't lost. He's undisputed at cruiserweight. He's moving up to heavyweight. He wants to be undisputed up there. He's definitely trained for it. You can't say he's out of shape. He's ready. He's got a whole country behind him as well. You know, he's got friends on the front line that he talks to. So he's got a lot of power going into this fight. So what do I think? It's going to be a great fight.
Is there a bit of symmetry here, Lennox, that the fact that you were a heavyweight champion fighting a former cruiserweight champion, Sugar Hill, instead of Manny Stewart in the corner? Is there a little bit of symmetry here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing that the symmetry is happening.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look. Brilliant world title fight now. Let's hear from Thomas Schreiber introducing the fighters.
Way of knockout, here is the reigning and defending IBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Anthony, the Andy Town Apache Cacace.
Well, here comes the Apache, Anthony Cacace. So many ups, so many downs in his career so far. There's a real intensity about him this week, and nobody knows that more than yourself, Carl Frampton.
Yeah, I know Anthony Cacace really well. Good friend of mine, former sparring partner, former kind of stablemate as well. This kid, his record doesn't really suggest it. I promise you, I've never been hit as hard in the gym. When he puts them together and he punches them big long levers, he can really frightening power. Cordina's an excellent fighter. Love a lot about him. But this could be the upside of the night. I imagine the bookies are having Cordina's a strong favourite. I fancy Anto.
Well, let's have a look at Joe Cordina making his way over.
Defending IBF Super Featherweight Champion of the World, the Welsh Wizard, Joe Cordina!
Well, there is that red and gold IBF strap of Joe Cordina, defence number 3. He has said this will be his last fight at the weight. It'll be interesting because he didn't look too great earlier on the scales from what I saw, Steve.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, we know that Joe was a lightweight. He was a British lightweight champion. He went down to super feather. and we know it's hard. He has to really work at it. It's no secret. It's not a mystery. And I think it'll be a great relief if he gets this fight out of the way, which is a really competitive, as Carl Fence get out of the way, move back to lightweight, and then we've got some big Mark Chamberlain's out there. There's all sorts of British fights at lightweight, let alone global fights at lightweight.
Bingo. And don't forget, there is the £10 rehydration that they've got with the IBF tomorrow as well, which is a big factor.
That'll hurt Cordina. I used to have to do it at junior featherweight, super bantamweight, 122, and that £10, I had to work it out as a fine art. I used to go to bed 11.5 pounds over and dry out a £1.5 pounds. That will be difficult for Cordina to stay within that.
See, Lennox is looking at Carl and he's hearing these stories about having to lose, only gain 10 pounds and going to bed, and Lennox is going, But Lennox ain't bothered about losing weight, mate.
No. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for both the IBF and IBO Super Featherweight Championships of the world.
Well, that is a brilliant super featherweight world title fight. And incidentally, Steve, just talking about that, they've got the £10 rehydration. There was a little bit of a back and forth about whether or not they were going to do it, because the IBO title was also on the line.
And they've got no rules.
Yeah, Cacace wanted it. Cordina wasn't too much wanting it.
So everything can be negotiated. Let's get that absolutely right. And we've just found out there's another IBF title fight coming up soon, where they've extended it to £12. It's a nice idea by the IBF, but maybe it'll be looked at as we go forward, Dev.
Yes, we will. And look, the atmosphere is starting to build up very, very nicely here. Lennox, I can see you like, okay, having a little look.
Absolutely.
But Anthony Cacace, Joe Cordina, part of, there's that world title fight. There's Jai Opetaia against Maris Briedis world title fight. It's actually a very, very good card, Steve.
Those three fights there, we would have the O2, or we'd go to Belfast, or we'd be anywhere. Anywhere in Britain we could do those fights inside a big arena, a good arena, and marketed and promoted right. They could all be top of the bills. Let's get it right. Simple as that.
Lennox, I've got one for you. You get invited to the House of His Excellency. You've been there a few times, surrounded by everyone having dinner, all the legends. What is it like in there? What is the vibe like?
Vibes is great, having all the boxers together, because, everybody hasn't seen each other for a long time, but Al Sheikh brings us all together. So we're excited to be amongst, other boxers and other celebrities.
Well, Carl, you've just seen Anthony Cacace on the scales as well. Obviously, this isn't the official weigh-in. Yeah. They weighed in earlier, but what did you make of that against Joe Cordina?
He looked good. He looked big. Yeah. He looked like he'd done the weight reasonably well. He's got this really strange shape on though, where he's got long levers, but he's got these big lats and long arms and a big shoulders. But he's got really skinny down here and skinny legs. But he looked like he'd done the weight okay. Joe Cordina as well, now with the ceremonial weigh-ins happening, looks like he done the weight okay. I would have liked to have seen him earlier on.
Do you know what Cacace looks like when he gets on the scales, when he's fighting? He looks like a butterfly swimmer. It's not a joke about what you did yesterday. He looks like a butterfly swimmer. You've been in the Olympics. Yeah. You ever see butterfly swimmers, right? They got no waist.
The V-shape.
They got no waist. They're literally, all of them are 24-inch waist. Well, they got shoulders you could park a car on. And that's a bit like Cacace.
He hasn't had an easy ride either, Cacace. Has been highs and lows. I think a lesser man probably would have jacked it in at some point, Carl.
Yeah. In my opinion, one of the most unluckiest boxers the world has seen. I think there's been a concern as well a little bit that Anthony sometimes maybe doesn't apply the correct effort that he should. Maybe takes a little bit easy. But I've been assured for this fight, on the biggest stage possible, he's put the effort in and he has a real chance.
Yeah, well, listen, he's got to put the effort in, as has Cordina, because the winner of this, the loser's still in contention, but he's not in real contention. Let's not mince our words. The winner of this fight, he goes on a couple of places, if you want to use like a board game. The other one just moves on one place or stands still. The winner of this fight, if he wins in style, he gets catapulted.
The winner of this fight, the money's got to be great for this fight. It's a world title fight, so I'm sure they're being paid really well. But the next fight after this, they can live comfortably for the rest of their lives, and that's what's on the line here.
Lennox, let me bring you back in here. You were there at the press conference yesterday.
Yes.
I was looking at you. It was quite something. Emmanuel Stewart 25 years ago, he was by your side as well. Sugar Hill had quite an emotional moment up there as well. What was going through your mind?
You know, I thought Sugar said he spoke well. You know, he's ready for the fight. I was actually surprised to hear him say that he wants to see Tyson knock out Usyk. And I'm like, that's not an easy task. And I hope he doesn't try, you know, to knock him out early. He's got to set it up and he's got to, you know, soften him up first. And he needs to soften him up because he's going to be in good shape. He's going to be moving around the ring, and he's not going to be easy to hit.
Well, let's have a look at two fighters who are certainly going to be in good shape. Maris Briedis and Jai Opetaia.
World champion, Maris Briedis.
Here is the former three-time world cruiserweight champion, Maris Briedis. He gave Jai Opetaia the hardest fight of his career 2 years ago, broke his jaw in that fight, and now wants his belt back.
Yeah, look, a great fighter, but at 39 years old, and his last fight being the fight against Opetaia, which he lost. Really good fight, really close fight. I think there's one fighter improving here, and that's Jai Opetaia. I think Briedis, love him, quality written all over him, but he might be just slightly too long on the tooth.
And what's really interesting about the build-up to this fight, of all the fighters on the bill, from the top to the bottom, we're not hearing a lot, but there's been a non-stop trickle of how Briedis' head's not right, how he's struggling with the weight, how he hasn't got the motivation, how he was ready to fight back in March when the fight got put back. I've heard about 6 or 7 things. I must admit, I spoke to him and he didn't seem brilliantly confident, but I've heard so many things, and I'm wondering if they're all true, then Jai Opetaia is going to walk through him. If they're all plants to fool us, then we've got another classic 12-rounder.
Well, this is a man with all of the confidence in the world. Jai Opetaia, since that Briedis fight, had 2 sensational stoppages, Jordan Thompson and Ellis Sorrow, and he is looking every part of future pound-for-pound star.
He is indeed. He's got the attitude, he's got the size to move up a little bit. People are talking about him. The reports from the sparring are brilliant, and we've seen his attitude in fight week, on fight day, and in the ring. I like him. He's a scowler, he's a growler, and he can fight.
I think he's ruthless, Dave, in his style and how he fights. And there's similarities to Usyk, actually, at cruiserweight, and how he fights, how he uses his feet, the angles he punches at. Punching power, probably better than Usyk, possibly. This kid, there's a lot to like about him.
Honestly, Lennox, I'll tell you, I know the kind of fighters you like.
Yeah.
You watch him a few times live from ringside. In a year's time, you'll say, you know what, Bugsy, you're right. I like that Opetaia. He could become one of your favourite fighters. I've just got a feeling.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see him.
Cruiserweight Championship of the World.
Well, there is a fire in the eyes of Opetaia. He had that last time out against Ellis Sorrow, that same look in his eyes as Briedis shouts to the crowd. Kept the cap on, kept the sunglasses on as well. It's dark outside, but he kept the sunnies on. He's a man of style, Steve.
Yeah, he's a man of style, but there's one great thing about wearing sunglasses. That means the man doesn't get to look in your eyes. Am I right?
Absolutely. You know, when a man wears sunglasses, he's looking in the other guy's eyes, but he doesn't want the guy to look in his eyes. So, you know, that's part of his plan, and it works sometimes.
Lennox, when you face off with your opponents, as you've done so many times in your career, are you trying to gain an edge? What goes through your head?
No, I just want him to see that I'm so serious, and I'm looking at him, you know, with my lion eyes, so he knows what's next.
Has there ever been a moment where you've looked at someone and you thought, got ya?
Yes, yeah, because they look away or they blink a couple times, so I know how they're going to react in the fight, especially when they get punched.
So what did you make of Tyson not looking at Usyk yesterday?
Well, to me, Tyson really, he's put on his serious persona. Yeah. He's telling everybody he's just focused on the fight. The fight's, you know, coming up soon. So he just wants to be focused. He doesn't want anything to take him off of that. You never know, because up here he might be shouting and screaming today. Yeah. But yesterday he wasn't. I think he's sick of the press. He doesn't want to talk anymore. He just wants to get into the fight. He's had a lot of interviews
all week,
all week. So he's sick of it, and it can tire you out. It would tire me out. I remember Don King would put me through a lot of press conferences, a lot of interviews to try and tire me out, and it did tire me out. So
when you're fighting his men,
yeah. And I was like, how come? Why am I doing all these interviews? What about the guy that I'm boxing? So I learned fast.
Let me bring Carl in here. Have you ever looked at an opponent at the face-off before the fight and gone, got ya?
There was one occasion, and it's a good friend of mine now. I've fought him twice, Kiko Martinez. The first time I fought him, it was a really hard fight, and I knocked him out in the 9th round, I think. And he put it on me at the weigh-in, pushed his head into me, pushed me back, and he was very, very aggressive. The next time I fought him, after the first knockout win, I put it on him, and there's a great picture. I have a picture in my house. I'm looking right through Kiko, and he's looking to the ground, and that was the one occasion I thought, I've got this one here.
Well, I tell you what, I missed that because I saw it was quite intense to you and him when you did the first press conference somewhere in Battersea to announce it, and it was quite intense. But I missed that. That's a great little story.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fantastic atmosphere building here in Riyadh. Some of the favourite tunes are dropping. Freed from Desire. We've already had Sweet Caroline as well.
Twice.
Twice. I think you can't play that song enough. What do you think, Lennox?
Let me tell you, that's like a theme song. Yeah. Anytime it comes on, I know everybody gets happy and they're ready to sing the song, so that's great. It's a happy song.
It's a happy song, Steve.
Yeah.
You know what's really weird? All week long, everything's been happy. Now, I've been at a few fights over the years. I've never known such a feeling of sort of laughter and joy. Every time I've been on a platform, every interview I've done, everyone's so having so much fun. It's not like, where's all the serious and nastiness gone? And it's a different, it's a totally different vibe.
This song here, this has become a bit of an anthem as well in boxing.
Yeah.
Who was the first boxer who walked out to it, Bunsey?
You're going to say you?
Carl
Frampton,
the first one to do it, and they've all stole it now.
Carl, get your coat. Your job's done today, son. You're done. You can go.
Fantastic. Just a reminder where we are. This is the weigh-in. Tomorrow night, Fury versus Usyk. We will crown the first undisputed world heavyweight champion of the century. The last one is with us, Lennox Lewis.
Yes.
It's been quite a week. Give us your kind of thoughts on everything really this week. It's great to be here. Such a big fight.
Yeah, such a big fight. I mean, this is a great place to have the event, and I can feel the enormity of it. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm the last undisputed heavyweight champion. I'm happy to give over my belt. Now he can have it and see how long he can keep it for. See if he can keep it for 25 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Lennox, let me just get this right. Even though that belt's inside your heart and inside your soul, if it's a draw, you're not putting it on the table, you're going back home with it.
Absolutely.
Staying inside.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to check.
Talking about draw, do you think there's going to be a draw?
Hey, listen, the draws are definitely. I've been speaking about a draw for a couple of weeks.
I can see a draw. Absolutely. You can make an argument for both guys.
Let me tell you, I hate draws.
I know you do.
You know why? Because we work so hard for the fight, and then we fight so hard, and then all of a sudden you win it, your corner says you win it, and then somebody says, oh, it's a draw. I'm like, man. So that's what happened with me and Holyfield the first time. I wasn't upset because I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just go out there and do the same thing.
On the other side of that, though, Lennox, if your corner says, I think you've lost this, and they say it's a draw, then you're happy.
Yeah.
There is that to it.
True.
So in your time with Evander Holyfield this week, when you've been speaking, have you been speaking about your fights?
We haven't spoke about the fight yet. I'm going to speak to him tomorrow because I want to interview him and talk about my fight and his fight, and see if I can get him to admit to a couple of headbutts.
A couple?
Steve, it truly was a great era of heavyweights that Lennox Lewis was in. Are we in a sort of great era now? What do you think?
Well, so we're getting the fights. We're getting the stuff, and I'm not, if Lennox goes down the steps, I'm going to say what I'm going to say now. Lennox was different. We're not building up Lennox because he was a good fighter. We're building up Lennox because he was a great fighter, and I don't care if he's embarrassed by it. He was a great fighter. So you don't get periods like that. As good as some of the fighters are, some of the fighters have been. He's a standalone. He's a walking with giants fighter. Dev, it's as simple as that. And
Thank you very much.
And I like him.
Thank you. I'm not disputing that.
Flowers for Lennox Lewis. Tell me, I remember you were ringside for Fury Wilder 3. You came into his dressing room after. What a fight that was. What a performance that was. What did you think that night? A great performance from Tyson.
Unbelievable. If you heard my commentary on that fight, I was excited about it. I thought it was a great fight. And, I love great fights, especially when it comes to heavyweights, and especially when they perform. If they go in the ring and don't perform, I don't like the fight.
Cole, let me ask you this. Lennox Lewis has led the way for so many years for British boxing as well. must have been a guy that you looked up to coming through.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember being a young boy watching Lennox's fights. I remember the first one. I'm not that old now, Lennox, but the first one that I kind of really remember was the Tyson one. I mean, massive fight, humongous fight. You had the British support. Tyson had the Americans and a lot of other people as well. And you've done a job on him.
Yeah. I remember that fight. You know, like I was there yesterday. It was a great fight.
Lennox, I'm going to ask you, we might get Tyson Fury up later on, and you'll be gone, you'll be somewhere. Can I ask you, even though you might see him, to leave a message for us to give Tyson Fury from you? What would you say to Tyson Fury? Give us a message for him.
I wouldn't say you're the greatest heavyweight ever. I would say you're the greatest heavyweight at this era. And I'm the greatest heavyweight at the last era. So,
that's the message.
That's the message. That's the message.
And do you have a message for Oleksandr Usyk?
Yeah. You know what? Before the fight?
Yeah. In a minute, we're going to see him.
I don't have a message for him. You know, because he knows what he needs to do. He's got an entire country behind him. He's got friends on the front line. So, you know, I know his focus, and I could tell his focus. I know what he wants to do. He's going to be working. It's going to be life or death for him. You know, if he's going to lose, he's going to lose on his shield. So this guy doesn't know about losing, so he's going to put it all on the line. That's what I know.
Well, that's the thing. 2 unbeaten heavyweights. It's absolutely perfect. That feeling of loss the first time, it must be really, really bitter.
Yeah, well, my one? Yeah, you know, you're talking about when I fought Holyfield and it was a draw. I felt that, you know, I should have won the fight. But if they wanted to see it again, they didn't believe it the first time, I would oblige them, so I did.
But these are 2 heavyweights that don't know how to lose. If you've got to think about it, they're taking their unbeaten records on the line. They're taking their Owen with them. So much pressure on them as well to keep hold of that, right?
Yeah, a lot of pressure. I think, you know, especially after the first couple of rounds, they're going to be checking each other out because they got 2 completely different styles. I know Usyk is going to be, you know, moving, showing different angles and moving around the ring. And I know Tyson's going to be jipping and jiving. And when it gets to the middle rounds and, you know, it's going to be looking like a draw, somebody's going to say they're going to make a move. And who's going to make that move?
Well, here is Evander Holyfield again. Your old mate there, Lennox Lewis. Evander Holyfield on the screen. Rightly being mobbed. Let me ask you this, Lennox. There's been a lot made about Tyson Fury's cut. And apparently the advice from Vladimir Klitschko to Oleksandr Usyk is target the cut. Now, is that easy to do? Is it easy for Usyk to just go after?
It's not an easy thing to do, but yes, it's something to worry about because if a cut happens, that's going to change the complexity of the fight. You know, if there's a cut. So let's hope there's another cut. You know, it's hard to go after a cut just like that because obviously Tyson's not going to want to get hit. But it may have affected his training because getting a cut, that means you can't spar.
Yeah.
And you know, not being able to spar kind of, you know, it's bad for you. You want to be able to spar to be able to get tough in the skin again and all that. The fact that he didn't spar may go against him.
I think that's the real issue here about the cut. Has he had enough time to allow the cut to heal and then get adequate sparring for this fight? And we don't really know.
We don't really know. And look, people are telling Usyk, go after the cut. People are telling Fury, go after the body. Is that an easy thing to do, Lennox?
It's not an easy thing to do. Plus, I don't think Usyk was hurt. He wasn't hurt to the body. I think he was playing. I think he was just saving time and making it look, you know, like he hit him to the body.
Fantastic atmosphere building here in Riyadh. It is truly unbelievable. We can't stop turning around and having a look at it. The Brits are here, the phones are out, pictures are being taken, memories are being created here in Riyadh, and there'll be a very special moment in time tomorrow evening where we crown the new undisputed world heavyweight champion. Lennox Lewis, great having you with us as well. It's brilliant just having the last heavyweight king, the Lion King, here with us, Steve.
Steve, here's a question for you.
Go on, brother.
Do you think the fact that Tyson has lost a lot of weight, will that affect his boxing?
No, because I don't think he's lost anywhere near as much weight as some people think. I think he might be 9 or 10 pounds lighter, closer to where his optimum weight should be anyway, around that 260, 265 mark. That's my gut feeling.
Okay.
with Oleksandr Usyk, do you think he's gained any weight to try and...
He's absolutely gained weight, good weight. You know, he's not been in the weight room like pumping weights like that. He's been like chopping wood, doing it the old way, putting on the weight the old way, making sure that he's fast, making sure that he's still quick. So it's not no clumpy weight he put on.
Dev, I know Lennox has got to go, but you know Lennox ran like Ali in boots, work boots, trousers, coat. None of that tracksuit trainer stuff, none of that fancy Nike wear. The man ran in working boots and an old coat. That's how he did his road work.
Yes,
old
sir.
school.
Yes.
Listen, Lennox, we're going to keep you for a bit longer, by the way. If you're Tyson Fury, how do you beat Oleksandr Usyk? What is the tactical game plan heading into this?
Well, Tyson Fury's got so much that he can do. He can move forward. He can be aggressive. He can move on the outside. He can stay inside. He can box southpaw, orthodox. He can throw uppercuts. He can throw body shots. So basically, he has to bring everything together tonight and make it work for him.
And what about Oleksandr Usyk? If you're Oleksandr Usyk, well, let's hold that thought for now. Let's head over to Michael Buffer.
Boulevard City Music World here in Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the official weigh-in for the main event of Ring of Fire. It's a presentation by Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum for Top Rank Boxing in conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Event Center, the General Entertainment Authority, Gold Star Promotions, K2 Promotions, and Sella. This contest we'll see tomorrow night is sanctioned by the WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, and IBO, and on the line, the ring and lineal titles. Now for this event, ladies and gentlemen, a very special thank you to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the official weigh-in for undefeated champion versus undefeated champion. It's all at the Kingdom Arena, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It'll be 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Let's bring the warriors to the stage and to the scales. First, an Olympic gold medal champion. Now, as a professional, 21 fights, 21 victories, 14 wins by knockout. He's the former undisputed and undefeated cruiserweight champion of the world. From Ukraine, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA, WBO, IBF, IBO, heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, here comes the unbeaten, unified world heavyweight champion, Oleksandr Usyk. All those belts being held aloft behind him. And there is a certain menace about his ring walk. His eyes have been fixated on Tyson Fury all week. And one man stands between him and undisputed. Well, Oleksandr Usyk is thoroughly enjoying this ring walk. The crowd are getting into it. And so is Usyk, one of the most entertaining characters in boxing. Always gives us something to watch.
Undefeated world champion Oleksandr Usyk.
great ovation here for Oleksandr Usyk. Of course, already undisputed at cruiserweight. Chance to become a two-weight undisputed world champion.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from the United Kingdom, the two-time world champion, holder of the ring and lineal championships, and recognized as the reigning, defending, undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Well, here comes Tyson Fury, the unbeaten WBC and lineal world heavyweight champion. The top is off, the arms are raised aloft. And will the arms be raised in victory on Saturday night against the man he is calling the toughest opponent of his career in Oleksandr Usyk?
The lineal, the WBC heavyweight world champion, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. First on the scales will be the champion from Ukraine, Oleksandr Usyk. $233 1/2 pounds for the unified champion, Oleksandr Usyk. Next, stepping onto the scales from the United Kingdom, WBC champion, lineal champion, ring champion, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. £262 for Tyson Fury. Here they are, champion versus champion, both undefeated for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. It all goes down tomorrow night at the Kingdom Arena here in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. "24 hours to go. Undefeated champion versus undefeated champion for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world at the Kingdom Arena, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia."
Well, tensions here are clearly mounting.
Are you ready?
This time Tyson Fury did look at Oleksandr Usyk. This time Tyson Fury put his head on Oleksandr Usyk. And this time there was a little bit of a shove there as well, Cole.
Yeah, different from yesterday. Even Bunty mentioned it just as he walked down the red carpet. This was a different Tyson Fury. It wasn't the same guy that we seen yesterday. And again, this is all mind games. This has been pre-thought out. This has been planned by Team Fury. But that was pretty heated up there.
Yeah. And it was also dangerous up there, Dev. I remember I mentioned to you the other day that when you're on that stage close to those ring lights, you're about 18 inches away from basically a 6-foot drop. And there, with that massive crowd, that weight, anything could have happened up there. It was like a shove halfpenny in an amusement arcade.
Yeah.
One more penny goes down the right way, and 10 of them are coming off.
Well, let's hear from Tyson Fury.
What are you thinking after that face-off just now?
We're ready to rock and roll, you know. Fireworks tomorrow night. I'm going to knock this little fucker spark out.
Looking to make history tomorrow night. We're going to see the first undisputed heavyweight champion of our generation, the first one in 25 years. In the past, you've said belts don't matter, defending belts don't matter. This one's got to matter, right?
I'm coming for his heart. That's what I'm coming for. Fuck his belts. I'm coming for his fucking heart. He's getting it tomorrow. Spark out! Fuck him!
Any final words?
All his team do. Fuck the lot of them. They can all get it if they wanted to. Shithousing.
A word to your fans, Tyson.
Well, just apologies for the language there. Tensions have boiled over here. It is the weigh-in. Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk have just faced off for the final time.
All right, I'm here with Oleksandr Usyk, ladies and gentlemen. Things have calmed down a little bit. It got rough and tumble. What did you just say to Tyson Fury?
Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone tomorrow.
You told everyone that your father was your inspiration growing up. If he were here right now, before the biggest fight of your life, what advice do you think your dad would give you?
Son, you can.
Well, we're 24 hours away from the biggest fight of your life. How have you managed to stay so calm before what is sure to be an unbelievable fight?
Because it's my plan. If I will be nervous, I not win.
What is your message to the fans watching you around the world, especially those in your war-torn country of the Ukraine?
My fans, I love you. See you tomorrow.
Give it up, everybody. Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, that was Oleksandr Usyk. He told his country he loves them. He said if his father was still here, he would say to him, I can. That was a very entertaining weigh-in.
And you know what? If you rushed up to Usyk now and took his pulse, you'd think he'd just come in from a walk with his poodle. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Ace in his veins. The guy's as cool as they come. I mean, what's not to like about Usyk? If you're a father and you're telling your kids and trying to teach them what a man's supposed to be, it's Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, Usyk has been consistent throughout the build-up. He has kept everything the same. Ice in his veins, as you say. But Tyson Fury has gone up and down and up and down. This time, very much up.
Yeah, very much up. I think all week Tyson has kept a lid on his emotions. But today, it came out. And now I think we're seeing the true Tyson Fury in what he's thinking. He means business. I think his weight is a little bit lighter. For the reason I think he's got to compete in the early rounds. I think he's expecting a moving Oleksandr Usyk, and so for me, Tyson knows he's got to compete and win a few of those early rounds. That's what he's like.
Well, Tyson Fury has just left the building as well, but let's talk about those weights. Come on, Cole.
No, the weights, I think, I expected Fury to be a little bit later, but that weight's a decent weight for Fury. Usyk's up a little bit more than we all thought, probably.
Absolutely.
But he's not fat. It's just maybe good, like Lennox talked about it. It's good
muscle.
Extra weight, good muscle, what you need. So, I mean, as an ex-fighter, Richie, this is the most buzzing I've ever been in the lead up to a fight. Like, I feel like I want to fight. This is the first time ever I've missed boxing and missed fighting from just watching what I've just seen. I'm not just saying that for a soundbite. That's how I feel right now.
If you go running in the morning, son, I'm calling your wife. I'm calling your wife.
We got the swimming race tomorrow, mate.
No, we haven't. That's another story. That's for another night.
Listen, I keep hearing things about there being no atmosphere in Riyadh. No one cheers. Did you hear it up there,
That was
Carl?
great. Yeah, that was noisy. And that's what a fight of this magnitude deserves. It deserves an atmosphere.
See, I've always fought with the atmosphere, Davis, because, and this is not a slight on the Saudi Arabians and the men from Riyadh, men and women from Riyadh, they don't know what to do. They don't know if you're meant to shout, if you're meant to scream. They don't know if you're meant to stand up. They've never been at big fights, so when they sit down, they might be watching snooker or a performance in the theatre. They will get better, and they'll be dragged on by a couple of thousand Brits tomorrow night. Trust me.
They'll copy the Brits and the Ukrainians tomorrow night. They'll start it, and the Saudis will get behind it too.
I think that's the best atmosphere I've seen here over in Saudi, actually, at a weigh-in, which is good news. And like you say, I think they'll follow the leader of the Brits, I think.
Absolutely. Listen, if this is becoming the home of big-time boxing, fans will flock here, and they have certainly flocked here for this event. Listen, I'm not sure how much we can repeat Tyson Fury's message, but Oleksandr Usyk's message was pretty clear. Tyson, I will not leave you alone. What does he mean, Carl?
I think that means he's going to fight aggressively. He's not going to move. But again, maybe it's a man game. I think Chris Mannix asked a really strange question to Usyk
about the dad.
On the eve of the biggest fight of his life, trying to get him a little bit emotional. Absolutely no need for that, but Usyk handled it like Usyk handled it, like a man.
Well, guess who's come back? Lennox Lewis.
Back.
You've seen it up there. What did you think?
It's, it was quiet one day and it's rowdy today. So you never know where you're going to get up, what you're going to get. And it's all part of his plan. He's been through these things a lot of times, so he knows what he's doing.
Were you expecting that? Because yesterday there was nothing, he didn't look at him, and today he more than looked at him, he stuck the nut in him. Were you expecting that?
No, he wanted to get in his face and say, yo, this is what's coming at you. I'm serious and you're going to get it.
And that's what he told him, basically.
And that's absolutely what he did. But what you couldn't see from where you were sitting down the front there, Lennox, but Carl and I and Richie, we could see Fury coming way over there between those palm trees, and I said straight away, different Tyson tonight. Shirt was off, hands were up, there was that look on his face. He ran onto the stage almost, didn't he? Let's get it right.
Yeah.
That was going to be a confrontation, 100%.
Oh, 100%. He wanted to, liven. He knew he was quiet yesterday. And everybody expected him to be. I expected him to be quiet, but he came out, focused and saying that, he's ready.
Lennox, I've been retired 3 years. You've been retired a little bit longer than me.
Yeah.
That's the first time ever, and I mentioned it just before you come up, as an ex-fighter, I felt like I wanted to fight again. How did you feel there when you seen what was going on?
Listen, the hype is there. The hype is there. Like, he's ready. Both of them are ready.
The hype is there, and certainly the extra weight is also there for Oleksandr Usyk, nearly a stone heavier than what we normally see him at heavyweight. What did you make of that, Lennox?
With Oleksandr?
Yeah.
He's put on some good weight. You can't really see where he put on the weight, but that extra weight's going to count. That's for sure. I'll tell you that.
And he was a little bit lighter, Tyson, but not. It was about what we said, 18-8, 18-10.
Listen, I'm surprised to see love handles. I'm surprised to see love handles. He had them, but he boxes great with love handles. Yeah. So there you go.
I heard a good comment the other day about Tyson's weight.
Keep it clean.
He said that he wins fights when he's fat anyway. What difference does it make?
Yeah, that's why I said I would love to see Tyson with a little bit more weight. But obviously he's taking the fight a lot serious. He wants to have the speed. He wants to have the mobility. And he's going to do that with lighter weight.
And the other thing is, in the build-up to this fight, compare it to the Ngannou fight, there were outings, there were dinners he had to attend, there was, kissing babies and taking photos. This time, I don't think there's any of that really going on.
No, and nor should there be. He should take this fight 100% because the guy he's fighting is a serious guy. Like I said, he's got the whole entire country behind him. His country's at war right now, and he's got people on the front line, friends on the front line that he's basically, fighting for them as well.
Richie, it feels like this has become quite an emotional fight now as well. We saw it up there, tensions really spilling over, so much on the line, Richie.
so much on the line, you know. Yes, tensions are beginning to spin over now for Tyson Fury's camp. I also think about Sugar Hill Stewart. What a great performance he's putting in terms of being a coach, of getting a man to the top. He's great. His uncle Emmanuel led Lennox to the top as well. So that for me, because yesterday he was a bit emotional, Sugar Hill Stewart. So that's a great achievement for him. But in terms of Tyson Fury, yeah, he overboiled today, which I think's a good thing. He's got the balance right. I think he's been pretty calm all week. Today he exploded. It's getting closer.
If you look at it like a pressure cooker, so all week long it's just been normal. Now, if he hadn't have done something tonight, he might have exploded too early tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they've eased him down. So they brought him down to a good level, you know. And that's what coaches do. He had a line. He was talking to me earlier in the week, Sugar Hill, and he said this is something that Manny used to say. If you watch the fighter close enough, he'll tell you everything. And I didn't get it at first, and I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. So they know exactly what he should do. Whether this day's a 7-round spar or a 12-round spar, whether this day's a 5-mile or a 10-mile, whether this day's an X or a Y. So that tonight, if you interviewed Sugar Hill now or Andy Lee, they'd go, don't worry, it was all planned. I'm convinced of that. Simple as that.
Let's talk about Oleksandr Usyk's message to Tyson Fury. He said, Tyson, don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone. Quite a menacing message, Lennox.
If you take it serious, you know, I wouldn't listen to that if I was up there. I was like, I got my own thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Also, you got to remember, his English isn't brilliant either, so it's maybe one of the phrases he knows and he likes to use on repeat.
And looking at his weight, he was a little bit heavier than what I thought he would be, Oleksandr Usyk, because I think the movement's going to be a big part and a lighter frame might be better. But having said that, if he does get dragged in, he's on the inside, maybe he wants a bit of weight to compete with Fury. He doesn't want to be roughed around too much, because let's face it, Tyson is good at wrapping people up, he's strong on the inside, and probably Oleksandr Usyk doesn't want to be thrown about in there.
Richard, just how excited are you to be calling this fight tomorrow?
Listen, it's a privilege to be here. You know, I'm amongst great fighters. I just try and concentrate on the fight and say what I see, basically. But I'm looking forward to it, because here you've got two guys who are equally as good as each other, tactically as well, and mentally they're very strong individuals and great fighters, so it's a privilege.
I got a question to ask you.
Go on.
When do you think the peak of the fight will be? What round?
Oh, that is, you know what? That's a cracker. Probably round 4 or 5, because Steve Bunce has just gone. So I'll probably go around 4 or 5 things. I actually think, Lennox, that I think Oleksandr Usyk is going to start very quickly, and he's going to want to get those early rounds, and then he's going to want to make Tyson come to him. If Tyson fights big, stands back, there's a big gap there. If he's going forward, he's an easier target to hit. So I think Oleksandr Usyk is going to be busy early on to get the points up, get the rounds under his belt, make Tyson come for him. Will Tyson fall for it?
Can I answer that question, Lennox?
Yes, please.
I think that this fight's a long fight. I think the last 3 rounds are going to be phenomenal. I think the last 3 rounds could be make or break for and a decision made on who wins and who loses. The corners are going to be very important in the last 3 rounds. What a fight.
I got a question to ask you.
Go on, bro.
Matchup of styles now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in the first couple of rounds because of the styles?
The first round, I'm convinced of one thing. I'm convinced Usyk, in the first minute or two, will try and put it a little bit like, put it on Tyson, get close, sensibly close, and I'm convinced in the first couple of rounds, Tyson will use that ring. I think he'll start coming into the centre after 2 or 3 rounds. But I think the first round, Usyk has to be aggressive, and I think he'll try and push Tyson back with sensible moves. Some maybe not even throwing punches, just getting close. What's going to be interesting, we talked about this earlier in the week, is the referee's going to be under pressure. Because the Tyson Fury camp are going to say, tell him not to turn his back to Usyk, and the Usyk camp are going to be screaming at the referee at the rules meeting, tell him not to hold, not to lean down. The referee's going to, I'll tell you what, he needs to get in that ring tomorrow with some earbuds.
Needs to be a strong referee.
You know what they're doing? They're putting that in the referee's head ahead of time. So he's going to be looking for it. So I understand that game fully.
I was actually in the rules meeting earlier. I heard a lot of this stuff. I could hear a lot of stuff going on in there. But listen, you've been asking some questions, Lennox. We want to get the final word from you. 25 years in the making. You're here to witness the coronation of a new king. Give us your final thoughts, Lennox Lewis.
It's gonna be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I know that both guys are gonna put on the pressure. Both guys are gonna give it their all. That, you know, there's two countries involved. It's not just the same country. So, you know, one country wants to win. I'm looking for a great fight. You know, everybody said good things. I think Usyk's going to start fast. He has to start fast because he wants to get those early rounds, and you're correct. But there's going to be a peak, and I'm saying in the middle rounds there's going to be a peak. Those last 3 rounds, you know, there's going to be a peak. They're going to fight their heart out for this fight, because I know I did.
Absolutely cannot wait for it. Thank you so much, Lennox Lewis. Thank you, guys, and thank you for joining us. We are edging closer and closer to Undisputed, just hours away now from learning who the new king is. Do not miss Fury versus Usyk, the Ring of Fire, tomorrow night.